Hello, my Blockhead beauties. Welcome to another episode of A Day in the Life of a Blockhead. It's your girl, that Wahlburgers chick, and today we have special guests, okay? We got two guys, Mike and Josh, both from Rockland County. Say hi to everyone.
What's going on, everyone?
Hello, everybody.
Hi, and they actually run a podcast called New Pod on the Block. And it is amazing. You guys got to check it out. So now we're going to go to the beginning and get a little history of these two guys. So who wants to start?
I'll start because my Instagram story is the reason why we have this. Actually, you know what? It's not. The reason why we had this because Mike and I have had a love of boy bands our whole life. Let's
This
just
is
be
true.
honest. I mean, when I was in 4th, 5th, or 6th grade, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, 98 Degrees, New Kids on the Block. I mean, anything just from 90s on, we were jamming out to. We love boy band music. I love pop music. I make pop music. And so that was the beginning. We were actually in our own little boy band.
I was just gonna say that's the true beginning.
That
Is
is the
you know,
true
the
beginning.
Letchworth Child Care Center is the
Yeah.
real beginning.
Yeah.
Yes, do tell.
Yes. So Mike and I developed a friendship early on in our lives. We pretty much grew up together, played Little League together. Fast forward, I'm in Los Angeles. I post an Instagram story song called When the Lights Go Out by Five, and Mike responds to the Instagram story. And lo and behold, I said, hey, we should do a boy band podcast. Mike was all about it. And when Mike sets his mind to something, he absolutely 100% goes for it. And I'm the same exact way. So I knew that, like, by me saying that to Mike and him agreeing to it, like, this was going to happen. And we did everything in our power to make a boy band podcast happen because we love boy bands. And we grew up in an area where, you know, as a straight man, it wasn't cool to like boy bands at the time.
No,
This
it was
is what
not.
it is.
Gonna ask that. Yeah.
So we had like a common bond, and you know, Mike is very good at what he does as a host and you know as a personality, and I knew it'd be great. So here we are.
That is amazing. So hold on. Okay. So I know that for us girls, it was difficult being a New Kids on the Block fan. And we got teased to high hell just because we love boy band music. It had to be crazy for you guys. It
Yeah.
had to be. You gotta tell us. Like how? Like we're
So personally for me, you know, as a straight man growing up, it was one of those things, and this is during the era where like, you know, LGBTQ issues weren't, you know, at the forefront. It wasn't, they weren't taking us seriously. You know, so growing up, I was called gay, you know, people thought I was gay. And at the time it bothered me because you're growing up and as a straight man at that time being called gay was like, oh no, I'm not. It was like a thing that you shouldn't call a straight person. Now I don't really give a damn if anyone thinks I'm gay.
Yeah.
Back in the
Right.
day when I was like 10 or 11, it was like it was like a big thing.
Mhm.
And just growing up with that and having to see other straight men hide their love for NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys or whatever it is, knowing damn well they're bopping out to their songs in their rooms. It was interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I can't speak for Mike. Maybe Mike had a different experience, but for me, it was just I was never afraid to be who I was. And I'm happy that you know I found a friend of Mike who was the same way because we had some good memories just jamming out to you know boy band songs and making our own boy band.
That's awesome. Tell us
Yeah.
your story, Mike.
You know, I mean, my love of boy bands started right around the same time as Josh. So I think when we were in the child care center, I was like 8. It was more like an after school kind of thing, not like a daycare or anything like that. But you know, I remember loving and like hanging out with the girls because like I loved the Spice Girls and I liked, you know, the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, and I liked just that 90s pop music. And just like Josh, like a lot of people, you know, as I got older, because when you're 8, people don't really know. But yeah, I got questioned about my sexuality plenty of times. And you know, I joined a boy band in my adult years for a couple of years, and even then, people were still like, are you sure? Are you sure? Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Just, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, no, you can love NSYNC and Backstreet Boys and also still love women as a straight man. Like, the two can be mutually exclusive. You know, and you know, Josh and I have always had the same vibe. I think we've always gotten along. And then as we've gotten older, I knew he was in, you know, music production and whatnot. Yeah, I was experimenting with podcast hosting myself. And then, you know, I think the two worlds just collided perfectly at the right time. And you know, here we are, what, 2.5 years later?
Yeah. Also, I would like to add in no way are Mike and I in any way, shape, or form like, oh, feel bad for us straight men. Like, that's not the message.
Yeah, no.
I just want to make that clear.
No, yeah. I appreciate you.
Just want to. I know how that might come across to some people. But yeah, I mean that's just how it was growing up. But like, yeah, in no way, shape, or form are we saying that straight men are oppressed in today's society.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
See, but the other side of that coin, though,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
sure y'all were surrounded by girls probably because you loved it. You can kind of talk to the girls about their love of boy bands. At least some of us would think that.
Mike, I'll let you take that. I got to think about that.
I don't know. I had the worst luck with women and everything. If anything, I was always looked at as just like, oh, he's just a friend. Like it's all good. So like, no, I never. It was never like an in with me to, advance, with women in any way, shape, or form. But like, I mean, I had a lot of female friends, which I was perfectly happy having just platonic friendships with. But yeah, no, it was never like, oh my God, you love NSYNC and I love NSYNC and you
Yeah.
love Backstreet Boys and I love Backstreet Boys. Like we're a match made in heaven. That didn't happen until I was, like 28, 29.
It was actually a quick way to get friend zoned in my experience.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
absolutely. It was like an automatic, like,
Yeah.
pass, just like, here you go straight to the friend zone. Do not pass go. Do not collect
Because
$200.
it wasn't really looked at as masculine. That's what it felt like, at least. I mean, I'm not going to speak for the girls. Obviously, we're young. So we're like
Yes.
13, 14, like, so it is what it is. But like, it was always like, oh, you like NSYNC? Oh, let's be friends. It wasn't like, oh, I like you too. It was.
Oh my God. Oh, but I totally get that though, because I know you guys were like doing the dances and everything. Like, were you into it like that? Because let me tell you something. If I had known you guys when you were younger and you told me that you was into boy bands, I'd be like, well then. Like, this is interesting. Like,
Yeah.
because we would have a mutual love. Like, it was hard to find a guy to be my friend because I like New Kids so much, let alone someone they actually like them as well. Oh my God. Yeah, that was my experience.
Yeah, that wasn't my experience, at least. It was more like, oh, you're gonna be a cool friend of mine. It wasn't like you were a romantic interest.
Yeah.
I mean, also
Yeah.
you gotta factor in that it wasn't just boy bands. Like I was literally singing Britney Spears down the hall as well.
Same.
So
Yeah, we had like all the same CDs,
yeah,
like
I
Britney
love
Spears,
pop
Christina
music.
Aguilera, yeah, all the same CDs we had.
Yeah.
At least for me, like I always felt like back then at that time with the late 90s, early 2000s, liking boy bands was cool if you were female or a member of the LGBTQ community as a guy. Like for straight guys, that was like not a cool thing. At least that was what my perception of it was. So like it was just like Josh saying, like I felt a lot of guys would be like, oh, I like NSYNC, but I'm not going to tell anybody about that. Like I'm going to listen to that in my house with the door closed and with the volume very low or with my headphones on.
Yeah,
We call
in the
that toxic
closet
masculinity.
Correct.
Yeah.
Toxic
Whereas Josh and
masculinity.
I would just be like, no, this is what we like and
Yeah.
deal with it.
Well, then I am so happy and proud of you guys for like stepping up your game. You know what I'm saying? I respect the hustle, and I'm totally glad that you guys did this because your podcast is awesome.
Thank
So
you.
now, what is it that actually? So you wanted to do this because there really isn't an outlet. There really isn't any guys out there talking about boy bands. So you guys decided to get together, collaborate, and start making it happen.
I mean, my thought process was just, we love boy bands. We both like podcasting. Let's do a boy band podcast. And whoever we attract,
Right.
we attract. I personally never cared about what the metrics are. Like, I don't know what our breakdown is in terms of male, female, gay, straight, anything. Like I don't, young, old, South, East Coast, West Coast, to me, it does not matter. I want people following us and listening to us who truly enjoy boy band culture, who like listening to us and like our energy. And that's the family and that's the community that we want to attract. And I don't know how Josh feels.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I didn't do it to, tap into a market where it's like, oh, let's go to the straight men. Because to me, like, there aren't straight men who are going to fan out about the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC like Mike and I do. I will say, though, that like at the time we did come up with it, I was on a podcast called Straight Talk with Ross Matthews. I was a producer there, kind of a personality. I had my own segment. And I knew for a fact that demographic would probably like the podcast itself. So in my head, I was like, well, if I start this podcast, we do have a fan base right here that can latch on. So what ended up happening was I announced the podcast on the show and I got a few straight talkers over. And that's how we, built our first base. Now we have people from all over the country, all over the world coming and listening to our podcast as well. But that was our first base, and I knew that it would be because, you know, Ross Matthews, he's a part of the LGBTQ community. He's a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race, and, you know, his podcast reaches that demographic.
Right.
I know they like boy bands and they like the same music. We've had conversations on the show about it, so I knew that it would bring them in. But that's the only like ulterior motive that I have, if you want to call it that. Otherwise, it was just, no, I want to have a good time talking with Mike.
Yeah, of course. With your bestie and you're talking about things you like. Yeah, I totally feel it. So have you guys had anyone on your show? Like, were you able to interview any boy bands or anyone in a boy band?
So we haven't done that in the first 2 seasons. Season 3 is going to be completely different. We do have ideas of bringing on a few guests, a few who were on, you know, the block party that we were just on. So we're excited about that. Mike has reached out to a few boy band members themselves. And, you know, we might do some IG lives. We're discussing about, you know, what the best platform for that is, but we are definitely going to start bringing guests onto the show and change up the format a little bit.
That is awesome. So then now what is it that you guys talk about? Give us a little insight of what New Pot on the Block is about.
So the first 2 seasons were mostly, I'm not gonna say all, but they were mostly like listicles. So we would do, you know, like the top 10 overrated boy band songs or underrated boy band songs. We did a massive project for our season 2, which was the official, unofficial greatest boy band songs of all time that we could remember bracket challenge. So like Josh and I are also really big sports fans, and we didn't have, you know, the NCAA March Madness tournament last year. So we're like, you know what, let's do, you know, this March Madness style tournament, but with boy band songs. So we're going to get like 64 boy band songs, and we're going to have people, you know, vote on which song is the best in each matchup until we get to a winner. And we're going to have, you know, people submit their own brackets, and the winner, whoever got the most, you know, points correct, would get like a care package from us. So they got like, you know, a New Pot on the Block t-shirt, a mug, you know, stickers, a handwritten letter from us and things like that. So that was the focus of, you know, seasons 1 and 2 was just mainly like listicle based episodes. And this season's going to be, like Josh said, just completely different. And I think a lot better.
That sounds like so much fun. I totally want to play some games with you guys.
Well, we do have another bracket challenge planned for season 3, but we just won't reveal too much of that yet. We are planning to do another bracket challenge.
Oh my God, that sounds so much fun. But see, you guys look really young, right? So your first boy bands were, like you said earlier, it was like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, New Pot on the Block. Where did that come from?
So we were tossing around just names. I don't remember all we have to give.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All we have to give.
Yeah.
Quit playing games. Larger than life. And of course we had the right stuff. It was also a name we were toying around with. That might've been the one that I think was probably one of my favorites.
One of my favorites was Pod Must Have Spent a Little More Time on You.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I said that on Ross's show and it got like harsh feedback and I was surprised. And I was like, oh man.
It's too long.
Yeah. I think you said, and then Mike said New Kids on the Pod. And I was like, no, New Pod on the Block. And so Mike originally had the original thought, and then I just kind of switched it, and it was birthed by both of us, which was pretty cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So,
and Josh had a friend make up the logos, which you can see.
Yeah.
On our t-shirts here.
I saw that, and I was like, oh, so they bringing it back old school. That's retro right there.
It is.
So then, yeah, it is, and I totally love it. I'm feeling it so over. But then now I gotta ask: are you New Kids fans? Like, do you like New Kids? You could be honest.
I like New Kids. I will be honest that, you know, in my boy band prime, like when NSYNC and Backstreet Boys were ruling the charts and everything, like I didn't know who, like I had heard of New Kids on the Block and that's it. Like I didn't really listen to New Kids on the Block until they reunited. Like Summertime was the first like New Kids on the Block song that I was exposed to. Mm-hmm. And then like when I joined a boy band, you know, periodically or for a short period of time, that's when I got exposed to, you know, Step by Step and the right stuff. I'm like, wow, okay, these songs slap. Like these songs are pops. Like I want to like, you know, just dance my ass off to these songs. And then I got slowly more familiar with them. And then we obviously started the podcast around the same time. And I'm like, yeah, we have to get more familiar with New Kids. And like, I like them. I don't dislike them, but I'm definitely more, you know, prone to liking BSB and NSYNC and those kind of groups.
Yeah.
And 1D.
I like New Kids as well. I mean, I like Step by Step. We have a segment on the show called The Right Stuff every single
True.
episode. That's you hear right stuff in the background. So I mean, New Kids on the Block does have an influential part of our show.
Right.
I was a big fan of Jordan Knight when he went solo. Give It
Mm-hmm.
to You is a smash. It's one of my favorite songs ever.
Of course,
And
you know I had to
that's when
play
I first kind of like made the link of like, oh, I always knew who New Kids on the Block were, but I didn't know who was in the group. And it's like, oh, he
Same.
was in there. And then Joey McIntyre came out, and I think he had a little bit of an underrated debut. Not a lot of people talk about his debut. Stay the Same was a smash. I Love You Came Too Late. I love that song. So yeah, I genuinely like them, and it's because of their solo careers, seeing what Jordan did and Joey, and then looking back and saying, oh, these are these guys, and putting two and two together.
Yeah, the same thing. I had heard of Joey McIntyre. I loved the song "Give It to You," and I knew Donnie Wahlberg from his acting career. Like, 'cause I'm a big Saw buff, so I love the Saw. You know, you can't even call it a trilogy because there's like 8 movies or 9 movies of them. But and then when someone told me like, oh yeah, like they were in New Kids on the Block. I'm like, oh, okay, now that makes sense. But Donnie was the only one that really shocked me because I'm like, he sings? Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he's got swag.
We get that a lot because he's done like a lot of movies, and a lot of people that are a little younger, I'm giving away my age right now, right? They're a lot younger, and so they exposed to Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Take That and like all of those other boy bands, and then it's like yeah, New Kids on the Block started that, for all
Right.
of you. Yeah, and it's amazing because the Backstreet Boys and New Kids on the Block concert, when they had that collaboration,
And KOTBSB.
yes, I got to go and check out some of those concerts, and it was amazing.
I can imagine.
Was it?
Oh god.
Yeah, it really was. Like, Kevin is my favorite. He wasn't there, unfortunately, but it was still an amazing show. So, the whole generations, us and you guys, because, I'm a little older. And it just worked. It worked. And the energy that these guys give out is the whole reason why we have the shows, because they taught us to love. They taught us, hashtag spread love, love will spread, and all that good
Right.
stuff. So, and that's why we're here. And then when I heard about you guys the first time when we did the on Saturday when we had that day. I never heard of New Pot on the Block. Then I was like, oh, I gotta check these guys out. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm feeling the energy. I saw one of you in the background like dancing and
Well, Josh was twerking.
cool, and
Yeah.
it
I
was
was twerking a little bit.
wonderful. It was awesome. I was like, okay, I couldn't see everyone because I was busy doing my thing, but I was like, oh, I gotta get to know these guys. They're fun. I love fun people, so that's why you're here.
Oh, that's most definitely us. Like I started recording I started recording on a camera, like our recording sessions, just because like we would have just so much fun, and like I wanted people to just kind of see like the behind the scenes faces that we would give each other, and like just like the things we would do, because I'm like, yeah, no, we're goons, and like I don't know if it fully comes through audio, but I'm like, yeah, I feel like if people just like see how much fun we have, like it'll just make them like us even more.
So then now it's so you're going on season 3, so it's been almost 3 years for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
3
is
years.
I think when was the DM was January 2018 or 2019?
2019. So 19, 20, and 21. Yeah. So this we are third year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So you guys are gonna have a lot more in store for everyone, and I can't wait to see what you guys are gonna come up with next, and have everyone check them out. Tell everyone where they can find you.
So we're on Instagram at New Pot on the Block. Mike is running our TikTok page. He's doing a phenomenal job with it. That's at New Pot on the Block as well. We have an Etsy store.
Yes, we do.
If you go onto our Instagram page, we have the link there as well. And that same Instagram page has all the links to everything. There's a link tree with everything. You can find the podcast at New Pot on the Block on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, wherever you listen to podcasts, it's there. So yeah, that's where you can find us. I'm Josh _Rodriguez_ if you want to follow me personally. And Mike, if you want to.
And I'm Mike I'm at Mike _Zacchio. That's ZACCHIO. And I'm on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and I think that's it. But yeah.
That is so awesome. So like I totally want to come and play some games with you guys because y'all seem to be fun, So now what I say on every show is that we are not in any way, shape, or form affiliated with New Kids on the Block, Wahlburgers, or anything like that. However, should the guys see this, what would you like to say to them?
Come on the show.
Yeah, anytime. Name the time, name the date, name the place.
Let's do
We
the
will be
damn
there.
thing. and bring a topic that you feel like the general public doesn't really know about when it comes to boy bands. That's what I want. I want to have an interesting conversation. I was talking to Mike the other day. We were doing pre-production for season 3, and the way we're gonna do it is like interviewing people are cool, but I like bringing people on and having them kind of guest host and be a part of the show. So if you are a new kid on the block and you're listening right now, think of a topic, let us know. We'll have you as a guest host and we'll make it happen. We'll have a great time.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
If we're dying to get we're dying to get any boy band members on, just because we definitely want guests on, just because I feel like that always adds a little something extra. But yeah, to get an actual boy band member from a group that people like listen to regularly, like that's the dream, baby.
So tell me something outside of like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. Like, what are some of your favorite boy bands, or some of your favorite songs from those boy bands?
Ooh. So NSYNC is definitely our favorite boy band. Although we do like the Backstreet Boys. Like, we're not like
we really like the Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, it's like this. It's like really close.
Yes, it's like 1 and 1A. It's not like NSYNC's up here and then it's like, oh yeah, and then the Backstreet Boys, sure.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask that question, right? Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
Yeah.
We actually, our season 2 finale was actually just the great debate, and we did a whole hour, or maybe it might have even been like an hour and a half long episode just about like really breaking down who's better, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, and we go into their hits, we go into choreography, we go into like their star power. Like, we really try to give an objective look at like breaking down these two groups and being like, okay, who's really the better boy band? And you can listen to that in our season 2 finale, and you'll get all of our opinions.
But we do like other groups. Like 98 Degrees was cool. Mike and I feel like the more I think about it, like we just like, there's songs from other groups, like When the Lights Go Out by Five. Like, we're not Five fans, but that song is like.
And I was listening to Slam Dunk the Funk this morning.
Where
like it slaps so hard. Like, oh my god,
yeah.
My fiance is a huge One Direction and Jonas Brothers fan. And she's really got me into 1D, because like I knew, the chart topping hits. I knew, What Makes You Beautiful. I knew Story of My Life. But she really kind of got me into some of the lesser known songs, and they're just phenomenal. Like, if One Direction ever reunites, like, we are going to that concert. We're gonna have very good seats for it. We might be broke afterwards, but
no, that tends to happen. Now that we're adults, we can pay our own bills and stuff. Well, we got to decide, are we gonna pay this bill this month, or we're gonna go to the VIP? Should we? Let's do it. I'll worry about that later, right? Oh my god.
But you gotta live while you're young.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much, or while you're old, because I'm getting there, but I'm still doing it. I don't care.
Yeah, again, like someone, I think was it My So-Called, whatever, asked us if we've ever been to or what our favorite boy band concert was, and we were like, I haven't been to any. So
and
like,
told us about a New Kids on the Block cruise, and our minds are blown.
Yes, so like I love cruises and I love boy bands, and so to me that's like, I'll tell Shannon like, hey, let's do our honeymoon there.
Yeah, Backstreet Boys has one too. Backstreet Boys has a cruise as well. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, and
we need the info on that. We need the details.
Definitely. I mean, were you able to watch season 1 and 2 of Rock This Boat?
No.
Rock This Boat?
Oh, so let me school you guys. So Rock This Boat, they had 2 seasons, and it was basically following some fans that were going on the New Kids on the Block cruise. There was a wedding in season 1 that was in 2004. I was there for that. On season 2, you had some characters, you had comedians, you had a bunch of different people, and it follows the fans through their journey onto the cruise, and then everything that happens on that cruise. And then you get an inside look at like Blockhead phenomenon.
I just wrote it down now, so I have to check this out.
Yeah, so you guys might want to talk about that, a little bit, because it's so much fun. And since you love Backstreet Boys, they do a cruise too. So just giving you some inside info, okay?
I like it.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. And for all you blockheads out there, of course, if you want to come on the show, just hit your girl up, that Wahlburgers chick. Definitely check out New Pod on the Block, because they're amazing, okay? And thank you for being on my show. So until next time, okay, stay safe, stay humble, and as always, stay fabulous. Let's do this, guys. Fabulous. Yes, I love you guys. Thanks
for having us on.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.